Welcome to ELECTRIFY. This is our inaugural conference on low voltage and smart DC powered buildings. With me today is Zack Cornwell, Business Development of CRUX Solutions. Hey, Zack.
How's it going? Thanks for having us.
Good.
We're super excited.
I'm glad that you're here. This thing came together in about 8 weeks. So it was a fast and furious pull together for this event, and you guys really stepped up to the plate and said, yes, we'll be there, and we're really, really happy that you could make it.
Yeah, well, it takes a village, right?
Yes.
And luckily there's a village of people that are pushing the forefronts of technology, and CRUX just happens to be one of those. So
right.
we're excited to be with our partners.
Good. Well, there are probably some folks out there that don't know a lot about CRUX. So let's start with, what is CRUX Solutions? What do you guys do? And more specifically, what is your role with CRUX?
Yeah, so CRUX Technology is a low voltage technology consultant, design and CA firm. So we specialize in our day-to-day services of AV technology, security, and then on the forefront of it, we have an emerging tech studio. So that's where we lead and educate and advocate around smart buildings, such as conversations like today with DC power and really advocating for the smart building environment.
Okay. And you are also national president of the Building Intelligence Group, BIG, who's one of our industry partners for the event. And BIG was just huge in connecting us with a lot of the right people and getting a lot of the right stakeholders in the room. Can you tell us also a little bit about BIG and how you got involved with them?
Yeah, so the Building Intelligence Group is a networking organization very much on the forefront of advocating around the smart buildings, educating, bringing people together in environments where they feel safe to talk about smart buildings. They kind of demystify what smart building technologies are, from capital funding to what solutions are actually working and implemented, kind of vetting through the noise. They also are on the forefront of putting on solutions that are kind of more cutting edge, but really more about educating on technology. I've been involved with BIG for the last 4 years. Started with a phone call that led me to lead the Austin chapter, and I just kind of put my hand up and say, hey, from a national perspective, how can I get more involved? And went from executive president to president, and now I'm on my way out to be past president.
Ah, okay. What are the main solutions for smart buildings? What do you think are the greatest, most prominent benefits of a smart building?
So I would say you got to look at the low-hanging fruit. Like, what's the most immediate impact? And then you start looking at what technologies take up the most energy usage, and it's around HVAC, it's around lighting. So whether you're talking about the Building Intelligence Group or CRUX, it's intelligent lighting, and then ensuring that whether it's a retrofit or a new build has some type of building automation system. And then you're able to ensure that you have the right data coming out of these systems to where you can manage and actually see operational reduction, monitoring and metering. But I would say anything tied around HVAC usage or intelligent lighting. Okay.
And what is the collaboration between CRUX and BIG?
So BIG is a networking organization as a whole. We have an antitrust statement. We are very big on more collaboration, not necessarily pushing one type of solution. CRUX is a sponsor of that organization.
Okay.
So where we come in, CRUX contributes to BIG from an educational format, whether it be case studies, understanding what we do in our own research. We communicate to BIG through the website or content creation or anything, but it's supporting that educational advocacy of smart buildings.
Okay, all right. This particular conference is obviously about DC, low voltage, DC power, smart buildings. And the program, a good part of it, is really looking at and analyzing case studies and looking at a number of the projects that are out there that are either implementing PoE lighting or fault managed power, low voltage, DC power predominantly large swaths of that project. Is there a particular project that stands out in your mind that you've been involved with CRUX that you think it really exemplifies what we're talking about at this particular event?
Yeah, I think a really good case study that CRUX has been involved in falls in the K through 12 space. And there's an ISD down near Austin, Texas that uses GPON. And when we talk about a traditional network infrastructure, it's all category cabling connecting IDF rooms and MDFs. With fiber to the edge, and you're powering those endpoint devices, GPON, something that's cool about using DC power infrastructure is you eliminate the need for IT spaces. So to an architect, as a designer, we can give back like 80 to 90% of the IT closet space. And so that space that can be repurposed for an extra classroom or a new lab. But that infrastructure design to DC power to the edge can also be in healthcare, it can be in hospitality, which obviously the Sinclair Hotel utilizes that type of power distribution. So I would say in a case where you have a technology that is more commonly used in hospitality, technologies that reside in certain verticals can also be introduced to other types of construction verticals, and like so they took that from hospitality to K through 12.
Okay. If there was a building owner, occupier, developer that was looking at a smart building, what advice would you give them in terms of really getting that kind of project off the ground and implementing smart building technologies?
I would say it depends on the owner you're talking to. Each client owner, whether it be private or public, has specific use cases, and understanding what team that owner has to define those use cases, define those use cases, is a really good starting point. An owner may have an ROI aspect. They may want to reduce operational expenses. They may want to have a USG, Green Building Council, thought behind it for sustainability, ESG goals, but it's really determining what the use cases are for that building and then surrounding yourself with people that are educated on that.
We're trying to, with this event, really get all of the right stakeholders in the room, from the owner-occupiers, the developers, to the architects, the integrators, the consultants, the engineers, just everybody on the same page. What do you think is going to really move the needle in the industry in the next 6 months or 12 months? What do you think is coming down the pike that might actually have an impact?
Depending on the region you're in, obviously there's a lot of compliance that goes around and a new set of standards with environmental goals in California and New York. Realistically, when you look at like a state of Texas where our energy prices are really competitive, what's the value to have to an owner in Texas? But you might have an owner in Texas that has facilities across the country, and I think the big needle is the education. I think we're up on a point where there's a lot more buy-in, and I think in more word of mouth and reasoning, and smart buildings aren't as scary as they used to be.
Right.
So I think there's a lot more taken to smart buildings are acceptable. They are financially obviously responsible, but it's not as scary as it used to be.
Right.
But I think when you look across the country, I think it's going to be a lot more compliance driven. But again, what's in New York and California will slowly start to push its way more inward into the country, but around compliance, I'd say, as far as right now.
Right. Well, we're interested to see how how the people in this room will leave and hopefully impact their projects and their real estate, and start to ask questions, and hopefully some partnerships. And some alliances will be made at this particular event, and we couldn't thank you enough for being here and being a part of it, and really giving us your insight and lending your expertise. So I hope that I'll have a chance to maybe talk to you again in 6 months or so and see where we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Zach, thank you for being here.
I appreciate it.